Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Drumming and Meditation with Circles of Rhythm. Thanks so much for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you so much for joining us. We have a special treat for you today. First, we're going to bring in Rees, and he's a colleague of mine. He's a RecT therapist, a mental health professional in the fields of addictions and mental health, has been working in that field as a recreation therapist for a long time. And he's an avid drummer and a good friend. So he's going to be teaching us a little bit about counting and tempo and its place within the meditative component. So how the two can be related and how the two play into each other. So Alan's coming up right away. And also for today's meditation, we have a special guest, Sebastien Bolessa, who is joining us. Sebastien is a good friend of mine as well, and amazing multi-instrumentalist who will be joining Jamie Gore for this week's meditation. So stick around. Alan, come on in.
Hello, everybody. Julian has asked me to spend some time today talking to you about counting and about tempo. And because it's our belief that being in time with each other makes a meditative drumming experience that much more meditative, and it makes any drumming experience that much more enjoyable. So I want to break down the concept of timing into its two component parts. That is the time signature that we play in and the tempo. So tempo is how fast a song is played or how many beats per minute. Many rock songs today are played between 120 and 140, 150 beats per minute. Blues, for example, is often played 80 to 90 beats a minute. It's a little bit slower. And so that's tempo. And it really is important that depending on who sets the tempo, that we all play that same tempo. But if we take the tempo and we all play the same tempo, now let's understand the time signature. So time signature refers to how many beats, for example, per measure are we playing. So, for example, a waltz is 3/4 times. That means there's 3 quarter notes per measure or per bar. Many rock songs are played in 5/4 time. There's 6/8. There's odd time signatures that we won't talk about here, but we're going to concern ourselves with 4/4 time. So what I'd like you to do is to get yourself an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, or to imagine it. And imagine you turn it into landscape mode and you cut that sheet of paper into 4 separate pieces, 4 equal pieces. Those are quarters. Now each piece of that paper represents 1 quarter note. That whole sheet of paper is 1 measure or 1 bar. So each quarter note equates to 1 hit with the drum. So when you in 4/4 time, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 quarter notes, and they sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and stop. Regardless of the tempo, if we're playing the same tempo, we can be playing quarter notes, eighth notes, triplets, or sixteenths, and we will sound perfect together. If somebody's playing a quarter note at 80 beats a minute, and that's the general tempo, but somebody comes in with eighth notes or sixteenths at 85 beats a minute, then we get a little bit discombobulated, and what could normally be very meditative now becomes quite discombobulating. So what I encourage people to do is to grab themselves an app on their phone, a metronome app on their phone. I use Boss DB90 for drumming, and I put it in the headphones while I drum. It's for my click track, and that just helps us understand and feel the tempo a little bit more effectively. So those are quarter notes. Let's jump to eighth notes. Get your second sheet of paper, cut it into 4 equal parts, and then take each slice and cut that slice into 2. So now you've taken a quarter note and you've turned the quarter note into an eighth. Those are eighth notes. Again, same tempo, whatever you're playing at, but instead of playing quarter notes, you play eighths. And basically, we count an eighth note as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Pretty straightforward. Good. Let's move up to triplets. I love triplets. They just, to me, that's one of the nicest beats, whether it's triplet eighths or triplet sixteenths. This is going to be a triplet eighth. A triplet eighth is really like a 12th note. Get your third sheet of paper, cut it into 4 slices, landscape mode. Take each slice, cut it into 3 more slices. So now you've got a total of 12. Those are triplets. And a triplet is counted as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 3 and 4. Okay, pretty straightforward. Get your fourth sheet of paper. Cut it into 4 equal slices. Take each slice, chop each slice into 4 notes. 4 times 4 is 16. Those are 16th notes. Each slice represents 1/16th of the whole. So 16th notes are counted 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Great. Fairly slow tempo, very easy to learn. Now, what we can do when we're practicing these, when we're practicing counting, is mix and match them. So we might play 16ths, we might play 8ths. Let's not throw triplets in there. Let's go quarters, 8ths, and 16ths, just for the sake of practice. Because basically we're playing, other than the quarter note, but we're playing with the 8ths and the 16th and an even number on for each quarter. So 1 and or 1 E and, so 2 or 4, versus the triplet, which is 3 notes per. And it's a little bit difficult for people that are just starting to learn this concept. So let's start with quarters, 8ths, and 16ths, and then mix and match them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 16ths. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Straightforward. Now, if we put the metronome on, let's put the metronome on, and we're going to start at 90 beats a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Stay at quarter notes. eighths. Sixteenths. Again, straightforward, and I think just this little exercise demonstrates how meditative it can be if you turn your own metronome on, put a set of headphones on, and turn it up so you can really hear it well over your own drumming, and then drum with your own accompaniment, which is the metronome, and see if you can get yourself into a meditative state. It's like a mantra, really. It's like saying the same thing over and over and over again, being present, being in the moment, being totally mindful of what you're doing. Let all other judgments just wash away. Stay focused instead on what you're doing. Be mindful of the sound, be mindful of the tempo, be mindful of what it is that you're doing, but nothing else. And if any thought enters the mind or any judgment steps in, let it go. This isn't about judgment. You will fall off the tempo. Everybody does. The goal is just bringing yourself back onto the tempo and keeping that mindfulness piece going. You can increase the tempo. Now let's go up to 120 beats a minute and you'll just see the difference. Here's 120 beats. Eighth notes. Sixteenths. Again, pretty straightforward, 120 beats a minute. Play around with it. A good little exercise is to put it about 120 beats a minute or 100 beats a minute and do your sixteenths. Close your eyes. If you're all alone, close your eyes and just let that drum resonate at 100, 120 beats a minute on 16th notes. So. Another thing that we can add to all of this, regardless of the tempo or the beat, is to play some accents, and throw in accents. It's like Julian said in another when he and I were talking about something else, that it's like the spice, it spices it up a little bit. So when you're playing accents, basically what you're doing is you're accenting either a quarter, an eighth, or a 16th, or any note in the triplets. So let me just show you the accents. So accents. So if we're playing without accents, it's just everything's roughly at the same tempo, the same volume. Okay, let's do triplets, triplet eighths, and throw in some accents. Are you ready? Playing around with accents. Okay, I hope this helps.
Hey, a big thank you to you, Alan. That was actually really helpful, so thanks so much. So now it's a time for us to get comfortable, find a place where you can seat yourself comfortably, maybe put your drum off to the side, and I'm going to invite Sebastien now to come and join us in and start to set the tone. Meditation is such a beautiful thing. This last few weeks I've had a high period of stress, and I took some time to really stop and to sit with a guided visualization, a guided meditation, and it really helped to bring down that energy. And so put your headphones on if you have headphones, because we're in for a treat. Sebastien is already playing a soundscape where he has multiple instruments that he's layering over top of itself. He's using loops, and this is an amazing art where he uses his voice, viola, and other looping effects to create a beautiful soundscape. And Jamie, as always, thank you so much for coming in. So everyone just take a deep breath.
Good evening, my name is Jamie Gore, and I'm excited to guide us through meditation this evening. So thank you very much for tuning in. I hope that wherever you are safe and well. Everyone, just close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths in and out. Shrug your shoulders and spin your chin. Notice your body posture and try to balance it and make it equal. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our attention to specific areas of the body, starting at the base of the spine and working our way up to the top of our crown of our head. And we're going to associate colors and words with specific areas of the body. And once we have done that, we're going to take a couple of deep breaths in silence and just notice the watcher. notice the one that's intending, and notice the sensation of the mystery behind that. So drawing your awareness to the base of your spine, and imagine the color red and the word safety in the base of your spine. And as you breathe in and out, just imagine that the red is swirling around in this area. Now bring your attention to the next section, which is just below your navel, bringing the color orange and the word creativity. Moving on along, moving up to below the rib cage, the color yellow and the word willpower. Now moving up to your heart area, the color green, and associated the word self-love and love of others, compassion. Now bringing your awareness to your throat. This is communication, speaking and listening. Now bringing your attention to between your eyes, the colors indigo swirling in this area. This is intuition. Now finally to the top of your head. This is violet, a majestic, beautiful violet. And this is an area of mystery. Just taking a couple of breaths in and out at your own speed in silence here. Allowing all of those words to permeate throughout your system. Just acknowledging the fact that your consciousness has the ability to create this visualization. Now, there is an opportunity in meditation to point your attention and to turn it around on the inside and to try and determine where it is that this consciousness is coming from. So, as we are born into an understanding of what we can see, we put words to our experience and we create language so that we can tell our story. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to rest in the space and the understanding that there is something going on that is not knowledge. It is just the experience itself. It is the awareness of the experience and the experience itself, and there is a space in between those two things. And just breathe in and breathe out. And acknowledge that there is space between all of these things. There is a space in between the matter that you are aware of. The watcher is watching the matter. The matter is the thoughts and the feelings and the ideas and the concepts and the knowledge. And you are the watcher. And there is a space between those two things. The next few breaths, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to just settle back in, feeling your sense of connection to the ground, feeling your sensation of connectedness. And just simply bring to mind someone that you care about right now, that you'd like to send some caring support to. Perhaps acknowledging them and just having a sense of appreciation. If you've had your eyes closed, gently bringing them awake and bringing a smile to your face. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening and you have a peaceful, relaxing rest.